Shalom, everyone. Today we are looking at Parashat Bamidbar, which was just given to us by Alejandro Alvarado, and now I will read the translation. The journey through the Sinai Desert required order, organization, and discipline. The book of Bamidbar contains a considerable number of regulations regarding their physical life in the desert on a daily basis, as well as their spiritual lives. This was represented by the Mishkan, the tabernacle, and all that it symbolized. Tonight, we will celebrate Shavuot, which our sages say represents the giving of the Torah to the chosen people of Israel. The Torah was given in the desert to show us that even in the most inhospitable of places and in the most adverse of situations, we are to comply with the teachings of the Torah and its principles. There are many unexplained, inexplicable reasons as to why the Torah was given in a desert. However, if the Torah had been given in a populated area, this would imply that it somehow belongs exclusively to that location and to its people, but by giving it to us in the desert, the Torah clearly depicts that it does not belong to any particular group. Rather, it belongs to anyone who seeks it and who makes it his own. In addition, a desert evokes the image of a harsh, uncultivated wasteland, symbolic of our physical world. By applying the Torah in our lives and in the world around us for the service of God and the betterment of humanity, we elevate and refine this desert, turning it into a rich and fertile land, an abode for divinity. Shavuot originated from an action that we performed, counting 49 days, which is today, and on the 50th day, beginning this evening, we received the Torah. What does this teach us? That it's up to us to reach Mount Sinai. The Torah is given to us for free. It didn't cost us a penny. But it's our task to make the effort and to stretch out our hands to receive it. The counting of the days of the Omer is important since each day reminds us that we are getting closer to receiving the light that comes from God's Torah. It was in the desert that God gave the Torah to his people, and it is there that he ordered Moses to take a census of the 12 tribes of Israel. As a general rule, the census in the Torah means esteem and importance. It's an expression of special preference for the people of Israel, of which they are continuously and repeatedly reminded. From the leaders of the tribes to the heads of the families to each man by his father's house, all who went out to the army from the age of 20 were counted. They were numbered. Let us remember that the census mentioned in the parasha is not the first one. The people had already been counted some 7 months earlier, after Yom Kippur, in the first year of the Exodus from Egypt. The Torah refers to the leaders of each tribe in an extensive and detailed way, and does not single out any member of a particular tribe. Rather, it goes to the trouble of recording each one according to their rank and their honor, without skipping over any name. When referring to the census of the people of Israel, which seems to be of less importance, without many further repercussions, why then does the Torah record every name and every detail? God does so to show them that they were his beloved children, and that he does not turn his eyes away from them, even for an instant. The fact that the people of Israel were and are still a persecuted people should not weaken our trust, their trust in the eternal, when we or they fall into despair. Rather, this should help us and them recognize that even this comes from him. The census verified the love that God had for his people and how he had blessed them. 70 souls were counted when they arrived in Egypt, and when they left, they numbered, so it says, 600,000 and more. The figure was 603,550,000 men over 20 years of age who were fit for war, as we read in Numbers 1, verse 3 and 45 to 46. This number did not include the Levites, who were about 22,000, as we read in Numbers 3:39. This did not include women, the elderly, men, women, and children, no, men and people under 20 years of age, and those unable to take up arms. So many scholars put the total of children of Israel at more than 2 million people, 2 million souls. Some say even 3 million. This gives us an idea of the enormous task that Moses had when carrying out the census. So if the Torah records the families of the tribes in detail, we can see how important and beloved they were to God. And if the Eternal asked for a census, his purpose was not to determine the amount, but to demonstrate. He did not ask for a census because he was interested in knowing their number, how many they were, but rather he asked for it to show his affection for the people he had chosen. This teaches us that when we understand that we count, that each and every one of us are important, then we can truly raise our heads. Understanding that we can have an impact upon the destiny of the world, that our words and actions matter, fills us with a sense of responsibility and allows us to grow and become better people. Let us not forget how important we are to God. He counts us. He knows how many we are. He knows each one of us individually by name. That should help us walk the path that we travel, whatever it may be. In all circumstances, let us remember that the Creator put His breath, His Ruach, into each and every one of us. And that is why we are important to Him. And it is especially important to remember that we are eternally linked to Him. Shabbat Shalom.